What is up, dude bros?
What's up, sir?
Living the
Welcome,
dream.
welcome, welcome. I'm excited. It's kind of a new thing here. We're going to run through some picks. This is going to be the Sports Ball Talks picks. Um, don't want to linger too much on anything particular, but definitely want to get our 2 cents on these games. We've got 20 picked out today. Uh, I'll start it out. I don't want to talk to about too much, but the Virginia Tech game, Cal, that's Friday. We got them at 6:30 on ESPN. I think Tech wins the game, and that's about all I really want to say about it, unless you guys have anything in particular you want to plug.
I got the,
I have the Bears on that one.
Okay.
I'm backing up the dude. I got Bears with the upsets over the Hokies.
Okay. I'll put a little asterisk.
I mean, ever since I saw their little equipment manager make that open field tackle, that's if your tackling goes all the way down there, the team's got to have some depth, right?
That'll get you fired up, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Yeah, their
the big
defense
game-
looked solid last week too, so I think they're gonna show up.
I'll give them that.
That is the big one on Friday, so it'll be worth watching, I guess. But moving right into Saturday, we got a game I'm actually really excited about. You know how much I've been talking up Indiana this year. They got a new revamped, new head coach, new everything UCLA team. You kind of got to do the etch-a-sketch with these guys. So it's a new team against a team we've been watching all year. So what do you think of GB?
Well, I think the UCLA has been an awesome 3-game winning streak, but it stops here. I got Hoosiers all the way. I got them covering and going over the 54.5 points.
Yeah, I think that's a good spot to do our little bet it or forget it segment. What do you think, dude?
I mean, I think that's a pretty solid assessment you got there. Nico really was allowed the chance to shine out, and we finally started to see something from him. So you pretty much got to look at UCLA as a team that really the last week is what matters, and everything before that or everything before 2 weeks, that's ancient history. That's not recent history. That being said, I am fully on board the Hoosier fan base. I'm embracing it. As I think Signetti is top 3 personalities in college football. I love it.
Yeah.
I think they will go all the way. I think this will be a good game, but I think Indiana's going to end up covering in the end. I think they pull it out, and I think they just get increasingly more dominant. But I think we will see some flashes of a UCLA offense that absolutely has its legs under them.
No, I fully agree. I think there's going to be some points. I do think Indiana still covers, wins the game, and I think we are going to go over. I think it's going to be a little bit of a shootout. I don't think there's ever going to be a worry about Indiana losing, but it'll be a game.
Yeah, I want to state I would not personally put money on Indiana covering the line, but I would say the solid bet for this is going to be on that
the
over.
Yep, same. Well, moving on into Georgia Tech, another hot team.
Syracuse at Georgia Tech.
Mm-hmm. What are you thinking on that, dude?
Well, Georgia Tech is a team right now that completely controls their own destiny. We like to see these legacy programs really shine. That being said, there is some question marks around the coach right now. He may already have one foot out the door that can do things to a program. We may not see the most solid performance come out by them. I think they are going to defeat Syracuse, though. I'm not predicting some crazy upset. My question is coming to that line of 17.5 points. I'd probably stay away from it. I think Georgia Tech comes out. They probably have a solid chance of covering it, but I'm stingy with my money when it comes to that,
GB?
Yeah, I'm going to back up. Obviously, I've been churching up the Yellow Jackets. Several weeks ago, they were already in my top 10. I'm happy to see where they are. Unfortunately, I do not think they are going to cover that 17.5-point spread. Even in their home win games, they are always close. Yeah. So I'm going to say they don't cover it, and I'm going to say they're going under.
Yeah, this is one of those ones I'm not even going to touch the over-under, but I don't think Georgia Tech's covering the line, even though they do win. So I agree with both you guys on that one. I think that's an easy call, and I'm just not touching that one.
Well, that's what she said.
Ooh. Ole Miss Rebels, Oklahoma Sooners. That's a funky one. The funky for me is that they've got Oklahoma a 4.5 point favorite in this game, and I get that they're at home, but I'm just not. I don't have the faith in Oklahoma that everybody else does for some reason. I think their defense is lights out most of the time, but their offense is just. Mateer's not been my guy all year. Mateer's not my guy now. Mateer's not going to be my guy next week. And whether he plays or not, he's still not my guy. So I just don't have the faith in Oklahoma being able to keep up scoring points with Ole Miss. I think Ole Miss wins this game, and I definitely think I would not even think about looking at the over/under because if Ole Miss can't really do anything with that defense, they're not going to score quite as many points, but I still think they win the game.
I think this would be one of my absolutely bet it games, and I'm leaning towards Ole Miss winning out on this. But my bet is no way Oklahoma covers 4.5 points. Whoops, Ole Miss. Yeah, it's a home game for them. It's an 11 o'clock home game though. SEC home games, that makes a big difference. But it's hard to get 60,000 people drunk before 11 a.m. and that's what it comes down to at SEC football. Let's put it on the table. That's what it is. I think that home field advantage is not as strong as it could be there, and I think Ole Miss absolutely squeaks it out there. I think last week is not something that makes that program fall apart and everything snowballs. It rolls down the hill. I think they're still playoff team. They're still in the mix for it. Lane Kiffin's still hunting. That's where we are.
Yep.
Yeah, both teams really want to have this win to keep those playoff hopes alive, but I'm going to have to agree with you guys. I thought I was getting a hot take here, but I got the Rebels winning with an upset of the Sooners on the road.
Yeah.
You're talking about Mateer. Obviously, I liked him early in the season. Post-surgery, he has not been the same. He's trying to get back what he had, but most of the time, Oklahoma's offense is deferring to the run, and I don't think that they're going to outscore Ole Miss on Saturday.
No chance.
They did better running the ball this past week than I thought they would, though. I will say I saw more rushing yards on the board than I thought, and their offense as a whole was a little bit more solid than I was thinking it would be. That being said, I still think the Rebels take it this one.
Better than the Texas game for sure, but not enough to stop the Rebels.
Ooh-wee.
And now poor Belichick in his inaugural college season gets to take on these Cavs at home, and the Cavs are hot, buddy. GB, why don't you start with that?
I'll keep it simple. Wahoo's over Tar Heels. I think they're going to cover and they're going over, and this is my absolute bet.
Yeah, I got the exact same thing, man. I got big check marks next to the over and the spread. So if I was a betting man, I'd put $20 on this one.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think Belichick's too busy doling out allowances and snack money and can't focus on the game. And I think that's where we are. And the Cavs are hot. We'll see if they keep that run going and this season. And they've got a little bit of a season ahead of them here. And we'll see if they shine out and maintain. And then they've got nothing to do but lose it for themselves.
And I don't think it's this week.
No.
Yeah.
Well, moving right into a game I think a lot of people are probably discarding just because of who they are in the last couple weeks with these guys. But, I mean, the Florida Bulls, USF, going into Memphis. Now, I'll start with saying this is my forget it game as far as betting. I'm not messing with nothing. I'm not doing the over, the under, the line, nothing. And that's because I don't know which Tiger team is going to show up, and I don't know which USF team is going to show up. I do think the Bulls win, but that's about all I'm going to say. I think it's going to be a good game. It has a potential of being a high-scoring game, but I'm not betting a penny on this game.
Yeah, I have nothing to contribute beyond that. I am right there with you. Both teams are the farthest thing from consistent.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, the only thing I want to add to it is shout out to the UAB Blazers for their big W last week over the Tigers. But I got Bulls over Tigers too. But I'm going to say decently confident that they're going to cover and they're going to go over. I think it's a big scoring game, as you said.
Yeah. Right on. Now a game I'm definitely going to be watching with interest. Bama, South Carolina. Let's see what the Auburn fan is thinking about that one first, I think.
Tied over Gamecocks, covers under. That's as much as I'll give you.
Okay. What about you, dude?
I'm not touching the over-under. I think that the Alabama Crimson Tide covering is a solid bet.
Yeah, I've got the exact thing circled. I think the Tide covers. I think it's a 2-touchdown game, and that's because I think it's SEC play. They're in South Carolina. Carolina was supposed to have a really good defense this year. It didn't, it shows little flashes here and there, but I think they're going to be inclined to play Bama hard. I think it'll be a good game, but I do think it's going to be a 2-3 touchdown victory just because I've watched a little bit of film on South Carolina this year, and it is not good.
I think Bama is absolutely a compounding team, and every single week we see a stronger team. Yep. And I mean, the Crimson Tide is going to be the Crimson Tsunami before the end of it if they keep this up. You got Krispy Kreme leading the way. You got a brilliant leader right there, the young Nick Saban reincarnate, living through him there. The Tiesman coming through. Wow. I'm going to say as much stuff as I can to church.
That's a lot of words.
Bernard coming out, really showing that he absolutely wants to be the prominent receiver on the team.
Absolutely.
And you got a young kid out there with a lot of flash who's competing for that. People thought he was the prodigy, but now we're getting more and more solid out of the old meat magnet Bernard. So a lot to come.
No, I agree with all that. I think
the heavy hitters hit him.
Not the other thing. Yeah, I'm with you, man. Proctor's a beast. Give me some of that Krispy Kreme action. Put him in on the goal line wherever you need him. My biggest disappointment this year, honestly, is number 2. Williams is just now starting to get his feet under him. He's starting to play a little bit better. I think he's focusing a little more on football. Knows we've got a real chance to do something if everybody does their job. But to your point, Bernard is absolutely he is the bell cow. He is the workhorse, and if nobody will admit it, next to Ty Simpson, he's the leader on that team. He's where that offense goes through. If he's not doing what he's doing, the rest of the guys aren't coming up to his level. It's just it's kind of a daisy chain kind of thing. If he's not playing well, we don't look as good. So I don't want to ramble on him too much, but yeah, I got everything you guys do. I think Bama, Roll Tide, let's go.
All right.
Rolling into Mizzou. Man, what a weird team this year. At Vandy. Ballers. What are you thinking, dude?
I mean, team of alpha males, they've been discounted literally the entire season. It's been very hard to have somebody give them the benefit of the doubt. But they're ranked number 15. They're still in the hunt. They're still there. And no matter what you say, they got to win this game against Vandy. If they lose this, they snowball, they fall down, it's over. Same thing for Vandy. I maintain what I said a few weeks ago in terms of the caliber of Vanderbilt's team. And I think you need to not only get focused on the quarterback. There's the tight end who also used to be a quarterback. Amazing. I mean, there's just a lot of talent all around the board there. And I think Vandy has this one. And I mean, the line's 2.5 points. I say it's a solid bet. That's what I'm covered. The over-under, I'd probably stay away from that. I'm leaning towards over, but this could absolutely turn out to be a more physical game than I'm anticipating. Both teams have that potential. We've seen them already do it this season. It's not their hallmark, but they both absolutely can play that down and dirty ball.
Yeah.
I'll just jump on and say Missouri got away with a win last week against an Auburn team that could not kick field goals and stay away from beating themselves up. On the other hand, you got Vandy, who's running with all the momentum after that huge win with LSU. So I think that they are absolutely going to cover. And I do think it is also going to go over. I think it'll be a good, high-scoring game. I'd love to see both offenses really roll. I would love to see Missouri's running back have a great game as well.
Yeah, he's a stud, man. I'll tangent on that for sure. I mean, their running back is the best in the country. That guy seeks out contact. He's not afraid of doing any of the work. But that being said, I'm real proud of Vandy. I just, even against Bama, they really tried hard. They, he he had a little number 2 action in the fourth quarter there, but other than that, he played a solid game. And then last week against LSU, they showed why they're ranked where they are, why they're the best team they've had in 60, 70 years. I think they absolutely cover. I would not particularly fool with the over-under because I just don't know how many points Missouri can score with a Vandy defense that's awake. So I wouldn't fool with the over-under. I think they cover, but Vandy all the way, man. I think it'll be a tighter game because of that Missouri defense, but other than that, it's going to be Vandy all day.
With that,
rolling into a team I've got nothing happy or good to say about is the Cyclones. They've been a disappointment to me all year, and especially the games I've watched a lot of. They were big talk preseason. They were big talk first couple weeks, and I never saw it, man. So I'll get right
pooped
to
on
it.
them all season.
I think BYU is the upset here because apparently Iowa State is a 2.5-point favorite. I don't see it. I just don't see it. BYU all the way. This is an upset. What are you thinking, GB?
No, I've got the same. BYU is a team that I have not given much credit to. Even the last time I called against them, they still pulled out another win. Here they are inside the top 12, potentially being in a playoff. I don't think they're going to lose at Iowa State. I think the game will be under, but I got Cougars coming over the Cyclones. But I would not bet on any of this.
Right on. Well, I don't really have a lot to say about this game. I'm not really particularly a Big Ten guy, especially with the Illini, but they're going to be in Washington. Washington team's playing pretty good football this year.
Mm-hmm.
Illinois is ranked. They're 23rd right now. This is my forget it game. I'm not betting a penny on it, but I do think Washington's going to cover and win. And that's about all I've got to say about this one.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think I'm not so confident that I would put money on it, but I'm pretty solid in the Washington Huskies pulling the victory out here. I think the ranked team out of those two should be the Huskies. If any of them, they're a bubble team, they could hit it right at the 25 mark, make it in the rankings. Illinois, you have no business. Get out of town. You're garbage this year. Make way. Indiana is the next relevant thing. You have been downgraded to mid-tier.
Love it.
I'm going to jump in on the other side here. I've got Illini over the Huskies, and I'm thinking it's going to be a little lower scoring game under that 55.5.
Okay.
So I'm going to see the Illini coming in and pulling the upset.
Okay. Well, what about the Texas Raiders? They got OSU coming here. You were talking kind of crazy. Why don't you start off with this one?
What, with Texas Tech? Yeah, I really am disappointed with the result of the last game, but I think if anything else, it's a testament to Arizona State. I mean, they had having all of their arsenal back into play obviously showed their entire season is going to be different going forward. We can talk about that one in their game when it comes up. With that said, Raiders are going to absolutely win this, but they are not going to cover a 38.5 point spread. I do think we go over against the Cowboys. So Raiders over Cowboys, no bets.
Yeah, this is a forget game for me too. I don't think obviously I think Texas Tech wins this game, but I don't think they're going to cover, and I honestly don't have a clue about the over and under because I don't know how they're going to respond to last week's loss. So I would not bet a penny on this game. I think the Raiders obviously win, but that's it.
I think the Raiders are going to cover that 38.5.
I think they're coming out pissed off.
Well, I think the Cowboys do not have that solid of a program. It's a rudderless ship. And the only social media content that's coming out of that program is the players doing TikTok dances to feminine music in the locker room. You know.
Yeah. Hence the buzzer.
38.5 is a lot of points. A lot of points.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. That'll be my outlandish game for the week.
Well, we got my Bearcats. I've been churching them up next. They got Baylor coming in. This is going to be, I don't know. The line's weird on this one. They got 5.5 Cincinnati here, but the over-under is 68.5 points. They have zero respect for either of these teams' defenses. I would think it's a safe bet that since he's going to cover this, and if it's a shootout, I think it's a safe bet that it's going to be an over game. So if I was going to bet some money, I would absolutely bet some money that Cincinnati covers. That over-under is a little bit iffy, but if I had to, put $1 on it, I'm going to say it's going to go over.
Bold.
Why don't you take it, dude?
I think the Bearcats went out here. I think Baylor is a solid squad.
Yeah.
I think both teams still do have a defense, though. And I don't know if I'm seeing 70 points total on the board or anything like that going up. Now, I could be wrong, and we could have 50 to 30 at the end of it or something. But I just wouldn't – I'd stay away from it. That would be my bet.
Okay.
I got Bearcats going. They're absolutely going to cover the 5.5, but I'm going to go with under, and I'm putting money on that it's going to be both of those, both under and that they're covering.
Okay.
Right on.
Keep it interesting.
I hate to say it, but this is almost a forget game for me. We got the Texas Longhorns going into the Mississippi State Bulldogs. What is Mississippi State? I mean, are they a 3/4 team? But what's Texas? Are they a 3/4 team? I don't have a lot to say about this game as far as betting aspect, man. I mean, they got Texas 6.5 favorite, and the over under is 45.5. I just don't like any of it. I'm not betting on any of it. I think Texas wins, and that's it.
I mean, Mississippi State, they're 0-3 in the SEC right now. People are putting them in the bottom tier, but that is still a relatively high caliber team. This is all going to come down to Arch, At the end of the day, I do believe in Arch, and I think Arch Manning leads Texas over Mississippi State. That being said, I don't see a routing. I don't see anything absolutely etched in stone. The Mississippi State squad is absolutely a very solid team, and Texas is a very inconsistent team.
And I've got the Bulldogs coming in with the upset. I think after Texas's performance last week, I think that there is high potential for somebody to take advantage. Mississippi State has proven that they can score points where Texas has struggled. If Mississippi State defense comes out and does what they needed to against Arch, I see the Bulldogs winning at home. But I do think it's going to be under.
Okay.
All right. Rolling into Wisconsin at Oregon.
Wiki.
This is easy for me. Oregon, they're not going to cover that 34.5 points just because I don't see it. But I think it's absolutely going to be an over game. No respect for Wisconsin here. They're not that great, but I don't think they're 35 and a point different not great. So that's all I got to say about that.
I'm right there with you. I don't think that Oregon's going to cover, but I do think we're going over.
Yeah.
I think Oregon's going to cover.
Wow.
Oregon is coming out this weekend and will be wearing their new uniforms, as they always do, which are Grateful Dead themed.
Right.
And there is a lot of pizzazz around them. I think they have a solid offense. I think they are jazzed up. I think they are primed. I think they are hearing that everybody else in the country thinks they are highly overrated, and they are going to say, you know what, we're Oregon. We put up 50 points every game. And that's what you're going to see.
Fair enough. I really don't want to talk about Miami just because I finally have an opportunity to dump on them, and I'm not going to do it. But I'm not betting on this game. They got Stanford coming in to Florida, and they're used to different weather and no beaches and stuff like that. Who knows? They got a tree in the thing. It says S. Whatever. I don't think I've watched a game since Andrew Luck was there, man. It's just they're not relevant. They're just not. I think Miami wins the game. I don't think they're going to cover 29.5 points, but I'm just not betting on this game. I'm just not. I don't like the over-under. I don't like the spread. I don't like any of it other than Miami wins.
Yeah, I'm with you. I've got Hurricanes obviously coming out on top. I do not think they're going to cover, which means that the dude's probably going to say that they're going to cover. But I do think we're going over, and I wouldn't put money on any part of this.
I think that over is probably a solid wager. I'm not going to say they're going to cover. They might, but I'm not confident.
Okay. Well, moving into your handicap Tigers at the moment. They got a
Who's wearing purple?
Big, strong. Hey, I'm showing my support so I can talk my shit. I also picked Vandy to beat them last week, but Texas A&M's coming in. They're hot. Number 3 team in the country, coming into a stumbling, fumbling, bumbling LSU team. Death Valley, the real Death Valley, is a hard place to win, but I think A&M, they're coming in. They're going to cover that 2.5 point spread, and the funny part is I think they're under because they both got really good defenses. I don't think this is going to be a high-scoring affair at all. I think this is going to be defense all day, all night, and that's what I think on this one for sure. I think we're going to be under. I think they do cover. A&M wins. Dude, I got to hear it. Come on,
Don't throw
Gophers.
the Tigers out. They are still in the hunt right now. They could win out the rest of the season, make their playoff run, and you have a great story to tell, a great program to watch. All the talent is there. Everything that needs to happen has already happened. Ingredients, magic, whatever you want, it's all there. It needs to go. This week, as with every week, they absolutely have to make it, and they have not. They did not last week. This is their absolute last strike, because if they do lose here, there is nothing after that. The rest of the season is over, and you better hope Coach O decides to crawl out of whatever alley he's waking up in and come coach. But I'm pretty confident that the Tigers will put up points. Mm-hmm. The Aggies put up points. And despite the defensive battle, I think this game will go over.
Okay.
I think this game will end up in favor. Go Tigers.
Well, you stole my mojo. I thought this was going to be a hot take, but I got go Tigers on here. I think LSU absolutely gets the upset, and we're going over, and I'm putting bets on both.
I'll stand on this island by myself. I'm not afraid. It's fine. Moving into the other birds. These guys, the Louisville Cardinals, who did me such a just did my heart good last week. They just did my heart good. They got themselves a good ranking. They got the Eagles coming into their house. They're going to beat the piss out of them. I think this is the game that does get covered. That's a 25.5 point spread, and I think Louisville puts it on them. I think it's an over game. I think they cover.
I absolutely think they're covering that, but I do think it will go under.
Ooh.
Well, let's not forget that BC coach. He's one of them Bama prodigy boys.
I remember
He's part
that
of
guy.
Your lineage.
I remember him losing too.
I think 25.5 points is a big. That's a heavy line for this. I think BC holds Louisville. I think Louisville still wins, but I don't see that line being covered this week.
Okay.
I'm saying they're not a good team. I think this might be the equivalent of a trap game for them.
Fair enough. We'll see. I think that'll be a good one to watch. Moving into two teams I've really got zero to say about. I don't like Michigan, and besides Saban's stint in Michigan State, I just don't have a lot to say about them either. I do think Michigan wins this game. It's a 14.5 point spread. I think they do not cover that. This is an intrastate game. This could be considered a, rivalry game. I don't know. And I think Michigan State would just love to piss off Michigan and mess up their season. So I think it's going to be an over game, but I don't think they cover. Michigan wins.
I'm going to go the exact opposite. It's been a rough season for Michigan State. Judging by the trend of their previous games, I think that Michigan will cover that spread. But I do think we go under. That Michigan has not put up a bunch of points. I don't see Michigan State putting up that many as well.
Okay.
All right, well, we're clearly going under. Michigan is going to win. They are not going to cover. This is going to be a Spartan home game. The Michigan State Spartans, they have a reputation. They have the 4th highest rate of in-stadium arrest in college football. We got some rowdy fans there. We got a loud stadium, even though it's a smaller stadium and not often listed as your Death Valleys, your Jordan Hares, et cetera, et cetera. That's why I think that defensive environment, the rowdy crowd, that's going to be enough to keep that Michigan offense that has struggled a bit, started to get momentum the last 3 weeks. I think they're not going to cover it, but I think they absolutely do pull off the victory.
Yeah, I'm with that. I think the next game we got is the last one I would bet on. We got the Tennessee Volunteers going into Wildcat country. SEC play. Who is UK, man? I like their quarterback. He plays decent. He shows a lot of heart, but I don't think they don't have the team this year. They just don't. They just don't, and it's sad. But it's true. You got a 9.5-point favorites on Tennessee. I think they absolutely cover that. The over-under is 54.5 points. I think we're definitely going over that. I think Tennessee has got to get their legs over them, have a good showing out to get prepped for what's coming. And I would bet on both of those things. I would bet Tennessee covers, and I would bet that we're going over.
I would also agree. I think Volunteers are absolutely going to win. They're absolutely going to cover, and they're absolutely going under. And I'm betting on both of those.
I would bet on them covering the line, not betting on the over-under. I am staying away from that. I think I like the replacement Nico they got there. I don't think he did so well last week. I think up until then, I would have came in here confidently saying, absolutely, they're going to come wipe the floor. They got that. But from what I saw last week, confidence factor's lowered. I think they still squeak it out, but I don't think it's going to come in there and be anything decisive in sweeping.
Right on. Well, let's close it out with the last ranked game of the night on Saturday. We got the Houston Cougars going into the Devil territory. I don't know. I think they really had a good game last week, being the Sun Devils. This is a weird game, though, because I've been paying a little bit of attention to the Houston Cougars this year, too. They've got a lot of energy and togetherness as far as coaching stuff. They've got a lot of stuff going on there. There's just it's weird, man. And they were, a couple weeks ago, they were one of the hottest teams out there. So I think this is going to be one of those weird, I don't really want to put any money on it games, because I think that the Cougars win this game. ASU's an 8.5-point favorite. Over-under is 47.5. I wouldn't say anything other than I think the Cougars are going to win.
I think if the roles were reversed and they had a home game, they might be pulling it out. It is a evening game, though.
Yeah.
I think the mythical creatures are absolutely going to come out solid. And unfortunately, I do not think Houston is going to do any of the things that you just said. I would love to see them do it. They're a bubble team. I'd say if you're looking at teams trying to sneak into the top 25, you've definitely got USC and then Utah, and then probably them, maybe Tulane above them, but they're right there on the bubble, you know. So I would like to see them continue on and stay there and have their program be a more relevant program. But I think this might be the game, the loss that just keeps them sinking lower in your minds. And it becomes next year, we're like, oh, yeah, weren't they ranked for like a week or two last year? Like, yeah. And then you move on.
Yeah, I have the Sun Devils over the Cougars as well. I also think the Sun Devils will cover that 8.5-point line, and I think that they will go over as well.
Yeah, I think I'm just a little too emotionally invested in that coach over at the Cougars, but that's okay. I'll stand over here. I'll stand by myself. It's fine. That's the last pick we got. That's I think that's a good place to wrap it up. Put a button on this thing. You guys got anything you want to add?
I got Auburn's going to beat Arkansas, and they're going to go under.
Yeah, I was gonna say we didn't touch on that Auburn game there. I think there's a lot of questions that you have for the Arkansas squad coming in here. The personnel changes could very well be a big factor there. There's also those rumors that maybe a certain somebody who's now interim coach maybe wasn't performing their hottest at the beginning of the season because the writing was on the wall and they wanted to get there. Now that they're there, they'll play with the full deck. And we could see something where Auburn just finds a way to lose hard yet again. And I think the safe bet on paper is probably to go for Auburn. But unfortunately, I think that we might be seeing the Piggies come in there and be like, hey, we're not the worst.
Yeah, I think they're going to get woo-pigged. I do too.
It's definitely a battle for who's the worst in the SEC right now, unfortunately. And Auburn has put up terrible games back to back to back to back against top 10 ranked opponents that each game, each week. If I remember the stats right, too. It's the first one that they're going into where it's not an overwhelming odds against them. They're actually favored for once. They got to get a win here or Freeze is gone. So.
Freeze might be trying to get going. I think that might be part of it, which is unfortunate for you guys.
His energy is just not what the team needs. I mean, there was a great short that came out earlier just going off of what he thinks that is Auburn culture. This is not it. It needs to change. He either needs to step back and let somebody else call the offense, or he needs to bow out gracefully.
Unfortunately, I think this will be a coach that people no longer say the name of after a while. And it's like, oh, yeah, you remember that several year period where no, we don't talk about those times.
Yeah, it's like all those coaches before Nick Saban, you know.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, going back to the last time when you had Tennessee and Alabama play each other at that place and have that outcome, if you were to rewind back there, you would be looking at an entirely different fashion world, all the faces and all the places. That's an Alabama team you have no idea could even exist. And the majority of people that are relevant right now, all the young kids, they can't even fathom that ever was a thing, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy.
Well, that's been your Dude Bros Sports Ball Talk picks. We got your bet-ems, we got your forget-ems, and now it's time for us to go to bed. How do you want to close it out, GB?
Tune in on Saturday morning. We're going to fire back up. We got some big games we want to discuss the day of. Get you excited before you start pre-gaming for those late-night games, before you hang in there with your drinks. So hold fast.
Absolutely. Wake up with us or catch us and nurse your hangover while we tell you our thoughts on the day as it unfolds.
Yeah, catch us before game day, guys. We love getting up early. We'll see you next time.